Hey, what's going on,
Hey
everybody?
guys, welcome back.
Joe here.
Kevin.
So we're in the middle of a huge run here on West Wing.
Yeah, these have been some pretty stellar
They
episodes.
have been. That's so they're really building up to something. I feel like so you have the whole DEA hostage situation
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to resolve it. Went bad.
was it Cuba?
Yeah,
Yeah, in Cuba,
Colombia.
Colombia,
Colombia,
Colombia. I'm
right,
sorry.
Colombia.
And it kind of seems like that was the focus of those two episodes. But
Hmm.
now it's like, is Bartlett's MS going to be the real issue? Because Abby, his wife, is very upset with him, like potentially
Yep,
rerunning.
yeah. And we can make the assumption without knowing that he's going to run again, right? Because we've
Yeah,
got
I mean,
five seasons of the show
that's what I'm
left,
saying.
right?
I really doubt West Wing continues without Martin Sheen being the president. I
Right.
mean, if it does, it's kind of a brilliant
Sure,
stroke of
but
genius.
I don't recall that happening. Like I wasn't watching the show when it was on, but I feel like that would have been a thing in the ether that you would have
Yeah,
known,
on
right?
posters and stuff,
Right, yeah.
but yeah,
So I'm
regardless,
assuming he runs and wins, but it's an issue, and I think you're right. I think the MS is a thing that he and Abby are going to have to really talk their way through
because they haven't brought it up since season one, really. I mean,
until she brought it up here.
exactly.
Right,
So that's why I'm assuming, unless that's just a non-issue. I mean, we could be totally wrong. We're
right.
wrong. When we
We,
speculate on shows, we're wrong
we're
about a lot of
wrong an awful
stuff.
lot.
We are, yeah,
Right, yeah. But I don't feel like it was a thing that was dealt with. Like she said, like
yeah.
go deal with these issues you have to deal with, but we are not done talking about
It
this.
would be kind of cheesy. So, like, I like how they're addressing it because it would be kind of cheesy if, like, he was just having a fit again. Like, if
Right,
his MS was like flaring up again, he was like him having issues.
right.
That would be kind of cheesy. At the end of each season, oh, his MS is back. You know
He's
what I mean?
passed out, right?
I like that
Whatever, right.
they're just talking about it because she is concerned about him.
Sure. Yeah,
So,
I agree with you. I don't think it's done being an issue.
and also we have
There's definitely setting it up to be a growing concern.
no sure, and also in the background of that, we still have to worry about the polling numbers because
Mhm.
in the last episode, I don't think they got
Oh
the
yeah,
numbers.
we're still in the blackout, aren't we? That they
Yeah,
have to redo the post State of the Union polling numbers.
so that could be a whole other issue too. Like he
Sure.
could start polling badly.
Well, yeah, 100%. I think the issue kind of comes down to one. We know we know he's going to run. We assume he's going to run and win. Is how close a race is it? How tough a fight? Because it
Yeah,
sounds like the first time he won, we didn't see that, but they referred to it a
they
lot
did.
as we didn't win with a mandate. We won a very very close election.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
And we don't even know who he's running against right now.
that's true. There has not been a Republican nominee yet. There have been hints of guys who were going to run, like the Speaker of the House. When
Yeah,
in the episode Toby messed up,
yeah.
it seems like that guy might be gearing for run. I don't know who it is. I don't know that they even really showed him. Maybe in the press conference outside. No, he didn't show up for it,
He didn't show up for it.
so we don't know who it is.
Yeah,
So
we just heard him referenced, and
yeah.
it's interesting too because a lot of the people, a lot of their allies, a lot of
Hmm.
the Dems are saying like Ed Begley Jr. was saying,
Right. We'll run someone against you. Yeah.
yeah, because they're saying this president Bartlett is being too right wing, too right centered, and it's like
Right. It's
that's
like
interesting.
we'll primary you. Yeah. Exactly.
So this season really has been about like bipartisanship.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly been the lack of it.
That, but also like kind of. I mean, like on Bartlett's administration, they brought Ainsley on board, and
Right.
they have really shifted to the right quite a bit this season.
Well, to the
While
middle.
to
They
the
shifted
more
to
to the
the
middle. I'm
middle.
sorry.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a left or right kind of situation, but at the same time,
Y-
I feel like a lot of the criticism of the first season was that it's a liberal show, which it very much is.
Yeah, it's a Democratic president. It's going to be
It
right.
is, and that's totally fine. I like the fact they are introducing Republican characters in the show to kind of counterbalance everybody else out.
Sure,
But I
but
don't feel like he's super far right at all.
no, he of course he's not. He's not going to be like coming out like we need more guns in
Yeah, yeah.
schools.
Bartlett's not
I
going to
mean,
say
yeah,
that,
exactly.
especially how the first season ended. They're not
I
gonna
mean,
take that
right. I
direction.
mean, I know I'm looking at it. We're looking at it through an eye of 2023
Of course we
lens
are.
of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
where the right and the left are. But yeah, we're not going to come out and be like we need to privatize healthcare and schools and prisons. That's what would make America better.
And they've addressed that this season.
Right.
They,
Yeah.
they they addressed that a lot, and it's frankly very compelling. And
Yeah, it is.
it's interesting that he's being criticized for that too.
Right, right.
So I'm curious. I'm very excited to hop into the next episode.
Sure, sure.
Before we get going, though, guys, if you're watching us on YouTube for the first time, welcome
Hey,
to our channel.
absolutely.
If you don't mind hitting that like button for us, leave us a comment down below, and please, please, please hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with all of our new content we have coming your way.
Absolutely. If you'd like to see the full length reaction to West Wing and everything else that we've watched, all the way back to episode 1, please check out the link in the description below to our Patreon page.
Yeah.
We do want to welcome some new Patreon subscribers to the weekend, guys. So Chris H., Cameron Mitchell, B, Saturn Sins, and Madison Madison. Thanks, guys, and welcome. We sincerely appreciate you being here.
You're the best.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and get this started here. If you're watching on Patreon, guys, you'll have the link with us. We're watching on Max.
Efficiency and professionalism. We're out
Something's
here
about
at
to go
9
wrong.
o'clock
Josh
on
always
Wednesday
wants to
night.
leave and
Yep.
is like,
Doesn't
sorry,
hurt the
Josh.
president's in Tokyo. Surgeon General's doing an online chat.
What's she talking about?
Decriminalizing marijuana.
See you tomorrow. What's she talking about?
Yeah,
Do
here
you
it is.
favor the decriminalization of marijuana?
And the law categorizes it as a Schedule I narcotic, while putting a government seal on a pack of cigarettes.
Okay, so we're going to talk about this episode. That's
Right,
interesting.
yeah, about the legalization of marijuana.
This is an old one. This is what really shows the
The
age of
a
the
little
show,
bit,
yeah.
right?
'Cause
Like
in most
we've-
places, it's decriminalized. Yeah.
right. Not where we live.
No, it's
We're one
not.
of the few holdouts.
Yeah. It's like everywhere around us, and then
Oh, yeah.
we'll be the last state.
For sure.
The Allman
Marijuana
Brothers.
poses no greater public health risk than nicotine or alcohol.
I mean,
Doesn't
medically,
have the same
that's
addictive
true.
properties
It is
as-
true.
Yeah.
I'm in the blue ribbon meeting. I got labor yelling at me. I got a real situation developing over there.
Get it.
Why didn't you get me?
What were you gonna do?
End the interview.
How?
By ending it.
All right, first things first. What time is it in Tokyo?
They're 14 hours ahead.
I thought it was 13.
Guys, their clock's on the wall.
That's right.
That's
yeah.
funny.
Okay, so it's almost 11 o'clock in Tokyo.
Yes. In Washington, 6 p.m. Thursday.
He's gonna land in Washington an hour before he took off?
Yeah.
And that's not a story that beats the Surgeon General?
A full pay.
The Marshes, what's her name? You know what I'm talking about? The religious cuckoo lady.
Oh, yeah, okay. I got you.
Her group.
The AARP wants the president to put Seth Gillette on the commission. So does the AFL-CIO. It's important to them, and I think for that reason, it's got to be important to us.
So either we get him on the commission, or if we don't, we make sure it's because we never asked him.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Did you have a phone conversation with a movie producer named Morgan Ross?
Yeah, last week.
He lets me choose the movies. I just didn't think he'd like it, so I got Dial M for Murder instead. Sam.
Okay.
The Surgeon General's not a lawmaker. She doesn't set drug policy. The president does.
Very
And the
good.
president
Nice.
is 100% against legalizing drugs, including marijuana.
That's a good answer,
Good.
actually.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, it's not the right answer, but it's a good answer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
killing it. There you go.
While I'm showing her support, what are you showing her?
The door.
Like, it might
Oh,
have.
they're gonna fire her.
Millicent, what were you thinking about?
I was asked a question, Josh.
As a doctor, I have an obligation to
Yeah,
tell
she's
the
a
truth.
doctor, not a politician.
And as a
Exactly.
person, I have that obligation as well.
Yeah.
I agree.
She's a doctor. She can't lie for politics.
Yeah.
But we need you to resign.
Damn, they are going to fire her.
That's idiotic. Sorry, guys. I'm diabetic. My blood
No.
sugar's crashing, so I had someone bring me down some food. So,
It'd be bad to get that on camera.
yeah, it's like, by the way,
Kevin, no! It was the dang marijuana.
Jay, the president didn't announce it?
Not unless he did it in the shower, but he hasn't announced it to me, and he certainly hasn't to the public. That's all.
The studio phone banks Charlie because they want a screening, and Charlie passes.
Why?
Because he did.
The Family
just didn't wanna
Values
watch it.
Leadership Council took out an ad congratulating
so
us
if he
for that.
doesn't watch a movie, it means he's condemning it.
Seriously?
That's insane.
I quit.
Wait.
I'm gonna crush him, I'm gonna make him cry, and then I'm gonna tell his mama about it.
You're not going to make him cry.
You wanna watch me make him cry?
Danny Kincannon on the phone, and I think you should take it.
Why?
He wants the president's reaction to a comment that was made about the situation with Millicent Griffith.
Who?
It was Eleanor.
Eleanor who?
It was Eleanor Bartlett.
Have we met Eleanor?
Hey, it's
have.
CJ.
What?
Danny Kincannon's quoting Eleanor Bartlett. She said, "My father won't fire the Surgeon General.
it's one of
He
his
would never
kids.
do that."
The retaliatory tariffs are going to cost American taxpayers $800,000 for every job
This
saved.
was brought up when Trump was passing those stupid Chinese tariffs, and they're like, it's going to save everything. It didn't. They were told this.
Yeah.
In a free society, you don't need a reason to make something legal. You need a reason to make something.
Hell yeah.
Darn it,
That is
parents
a
are
great
keeping drugs
answer.
away from their kids with a whip.
What the hell is Danny Kincannon doing calling my kid? He knows better than that. They all know better than that. But Danny!
Sir, he didn't.
CJ,
Mr. President, Danny didn't call her.
She called
I
him.
was told it was Danny.
Yes, sir. She called him.
Oh, she wanted to make a political statement.
Dang. Dang.
She wanted to undercut him before he could fire her.
Call
Yeah.
your daughter.
Yeah, you need to talk to your daughter, man.
You've managed to win me the support of the Christian right and the Cheech and Chong fan club in the same day.
Leo Singer tomorrow.
Would you arrange for my middle daughter to come see me at her earliest possible convenience? Yes, sir.
So he has 3 daughters.
Ah,
This is pretty much a King Lear setup, isn't it?
kind of. Except
Yeah.
for Bartlett's a good guy.
Right? Yeah.
What's this note?
That note?
Yeah.
It says that we should stand by the Surgeon General.
Yeah.
Actually, it says we should stand by the Sturgeon General. Congresswoman White.
Dial M. A fine film.
I know it well.
Yeah,
Ray
Hitchcock.
Milland, Grace Kelly.
Ellie. I was told my father wanted to see me.
Congratulations, Millie. You're now the pamphlet girl for every right-wing fundraising cause. I'll take the heat from the First Lady, but I want your resignation by 8 o'clock tonight, or the President's going to fire you. I've got a meeting.
Ellie, thanks for coming.
Hi, Dad.
First things first, give your daughter a hug.
Right? Yeah.
It's your daughter.
Being really patronizing.
My father won't fire the Surgeon General. He would never do that. I have set up monumental, unprecedented, unbreakable rules about my children in the press. So I'm sure you went over the exact
He's being
wording.
really patronizing
CJ
and
Craig,
condescending
he is
to her right
coordinated
now.
with White House strategies.
That's
so
not how you talk to your
timing is
daughter,
right
man.
in the news cycle.
I didn't do it to make you unhappy, Dad.
Well, you sure didn't do it to make me happy.
I don't know how to make you happy, Dad. For that, you got to talk to Zoe or Liz.
Oh,
wow. Oh, that's rough.
that is rough.
He was really coming down on her here.
I can stay over if you want me to.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, there's a wall between these two.
So I need Seth Gillette on the commission. But I can't ask him. Because if he says no, there'll be no commission. Listen, I read in the paper that I'm on the benefit committee for the Child Leukemia Foundation.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Why do you suppose the paper wrote that?
I don't know. I found that when I skip over that first step and move right to the second step, it becomes a lot harder for people to say no. Listen.
Skip over the first step and move right to the second.
Was he going to announce that Gillette's on the commission
Yeah,
without
yeah.
actually asking
Wow.
him?
Yeah. Announced that Seth Gillette's
Yeah,
going to
that's
the
awesome.
Commission on Social Security.
Toby.
Make sure the press knows the senator put the Democratic Party above personal differences.
Morgan, the president's never seen your movie. He's never heard of your movie. He has no particular objection to your movie, and you know it.
Charlie was offered a choice, and he made one. Why aren't you standing up saying, see, it works? You don't need to ban movies like Prince of New York. You just have to choose not to watch them.
You ever call the president a
Banning
coward
movies is
again
so
for your own
stupid,
PR purposes? It's not going to be CJ Craig you got to deal with. It's going to be me.
But I think we can all agree that Dial M for Murder is a freaking masterpiece.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
It is a classic.
Is that your resignation?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. My father won't fire the Surgeon General. He would never do that. You didn't put her up to it?
No, sir.
You didn't pick up the phone after Josh came to see you and say, Ellie, it's your godmother.
She worships you, Mr.
She's
President.
mad at me.
Well, you're mad at her.
Yes, I am.
Sir,
I was running for president. Where the hell was she?
you frightened her.
No, I didn't.
Sir.
How did I frighten her?
You've been the king of whatever room you've walked into her entire life.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
intimidate Zoe or Liz. But I will not stand and allow someone to tell me that I love one of my children less than the others. My God, King Lear is a good
There
place.
you go. Yep, there you go.
It's the nicest thing she's ever said about me.
Oh, he probably is.
Yeah.
I don't accept.
Oh, okay, she's not fired.
I'm sorry, sir.
I don't accept your resignation.
Good. Good.
Yeah,
good,
she shouldn't
good.
be fired.
You know, Josh, I think if you ever have a daughter, you're going to discover there are worse reasons in the world to do something.
Nice.
Sit down. I hear you're thinking
Shows
about
the president?
ophthalmology.
Yes.
It's a good part.
Oncology.
Why do you want to study people's feet?
That's
funny.
podiatry.
Yep.
And what's the study of feet?
Dad, you're not gonna get me to laugh.
Really? The only thing you ever had to do to make me happy was come home at the end of the day.
Oh, poor kid.
Yeah.
So, endocrinology.
I love shots like this in movies.
With the kind of like the haze there with the film.
It's
Yeah,
it's everything I want. It's
it's
perfect.
beautiful. Yeah.
It is.
Man.
This episode had a lot to think about, and they're not retreading any new ground at all. I'm just saying it's interesting that they've addressed the drug situation several times this season.
Sure.
I know that Sorkin got clean.
Right. I don't know when. Was it?
I think it was around this time. It might have been in the first season, but I know he openly was doing an interview because I've been watching Sorkin interviews on YouTube recently, and he talked about getting clean, and he talked about how when he wrote the script for the American President, he was very much not.
Oh yeah, I've heard the stories. Right.
And from that script, spawned The West Wing.
Right.
But he was very much using drugs and just pumping out pages, pumping out ideas. And
Well, when he started doing this, he was doing he was writing exclusively 2 television shows at the same time, which is impossible.
yeah, so maybe he was briefly during the show, but I know during the run of the show he definitely was clean. Relapse, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know
personal
the
life,
specifics, right?
But
yeah.
publicly, he said he was clean around this time. So I wonder if that was influencing his decision to write about this, because we're not drug users. We're not those guys. We don't judge anybody for their own personal choices unless you're causing harm to
Freedom,
somebody else.
baby. Yeah, as long as you're not hurting somebody else, I get
we
it.
could care less. And at this point, it seems kind of weird calling marijuana a drug in 2023 because it is legalized in so many different places.
Well,
but it is. I mean, it is still a drug technically speaking. But you know what? So is alcohol.
It is, and
so is nicotine.
The argument, like I remember when I was a kid when this was a thing, because this was a big debate for years, and
it still kind of is.
Yeah, sure. But the argument was the slippery slope argument. Well,
sure,
if you right, the gateway drug. If you legalize marijuana, then everyone's going to start doing cocaine and heroin and blah PCP, and it's all going to, that's just the first step.
Yeah.
And so Colorado and a couple other places legalized it.
Oregon.
Right, and then that second step didn't happen. So the whole slippery slope argument proved itself out as a fallacy. Right,
it did.
It wasn't true. The people who were smoking marijuana didn't all of a sudden all run out and say, "Well, this is great. Let me grab some heroin."
Exactly.
Which was a lot of what the argument was.
And I think they found out that it kind of stimulated the economy a little bit.
Oh, it did. It did.
Like look at Denver.
Right, and when they legalized marijuana, a lot of the crime rates dropped and everything. And again, I'm not saying what everybody should do or what everybody should think.
Sure.
It's all these are complex issues, so everyone's gonna have different opinions on them, and I get that. But the cautionary tale of legalizing marijuana just didn't come to pass, really.
And my thoughts about legalizing it is I think this should be legal. And it's not even for just like habitual use. It's more so about the decriminalization because there's a lot of people in prison for it. There's a lot of people in prison for nonviolent crimes that are doing many years for just pot.
A lot of our viewers are international viewers. About half of our viewers are not in America, and we can tell you guys that in the United States we incarcerate more citizens per capita than anyone else in the world, and it's not even close.
It's not fair.
We love to lock people up here, and most of them are nonviolent offenders.
And exactly. And the stigma behind marijuana is going away. I mean, so much so that even the vice president was saying when she was in college she was smoking pot. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
So if that would not happen 20 years ago on the show.
Well, I remember when Clinton was running, he was asked if he smoked marijuana, and he clearly had. And he said, yes, but I didn't inhale. I'm like, dude, just say you smoked marijuana.
Like,
I get
it's
it.
so
but...
dumb, and we've all been in college.
Right.
We've all been there before, so it's not a big deal. And it's in the media, it's everywhere.
I never smoked marijuana in college.
Really?
Never. No, but I had roommates that were high all the time.
Sure.
Like, I think this smells. I'm going to go hang out in the other room, guys.
Well, but even,
to each his own.
I was in California in 2020, and it's amazing. We went to San Diego, and they have like those big, I think they're called head shops, dispensaries, and they look like an Apple store.
Oh, really?
They've got like the glass laid out and everything. And you're like, wow, this is like this is like $1 million store right here. You know what I mean?
I went into one in Colorado with a friend just to check it out. Like I said, I don't smoke it, so I didn't get anything. But it was like, man, they had the only thing I really remember about it, besides they had to have an ATM in there because legally they can't use it banks, so so everyone has to use ATM and everything's done in cash.
Yeah.
And when I was standing there, like just kind of looking like this is all so weird to me, the back door opened and there was a security team of like 9 guys sitting there. Because it's like I guess because there's so much cash and so much drugs that you need to have pretty good security at a place like that, I would think.
And like we said, we're totally for that and everything.
Right.
But for you younger viewers, you got to be careful with this stuff because it could be a gateway. I'm a believer that alcohol is much more of a gateway to bad ideas than marijuana is. Alcohol that can inform so many bad decisions.
Sure.
But with younger kids, it is linked to some serious brain issues.
Oh, it is,
for sure. You can get really messed up off that stuff. It does lower your inhibition. So while we are fine with it, we're advocates for it. If you want to use it, totally fine. Just be careful.
Yeah. And again, we're talking about a television show here, and we agree with everything that the Surgeon General said. Doctors aren't supposed to lie. Doctors are supposed to tell the truth.
Doctors should tell the truth.
And when you start, we just went through an ugly time where the ideas of we don't trust doctors in America anymore for a while was
it's maddening.
Was utterly infuriating.
It's maddening, and and we are pro-doctor.
Yeah, I'm very pro-doctor.
It's not to say that doctors are always honest, but at the same time, you should believe your doctor.
I don't know anything about cars. When my car breaks down, I take it to a mechanic. I don't say the mechanic doesn't know anything. So when I'm sick or I need medical advice, I go to the person who went to medical school and has years of medical experience.
Exactly. Just because a few people are dishonest doesn't mean you should categorize the entire profession of dishonest people.
Or because I saw a sick tweet that says doctors are bad, I shouldn't trust doctors, or some random YouTube video by someone.
Jones.
yeah, exactly. Well, Alex Jones says doctors are evil, so I believe that guy because he's selling horse pills.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right. That was a good episode. I expect nothing less from this show, and we'll catch you in the next one, guys.
See ya.